A family in Revit indicates a specific type of object. For instance, a door family would indicate a door that you're placing in your project. A window family would indicate a window. Other kinds of families would be tables, chairs, sinks, toilets. All families, all objects which have three-dimensional properties and can be loaded into a Revit environment. In this exercise, we're going to discuss how to load specific door and window families into a project. Underneath the Architecture tab, we can find two separate commands. One's the door command, and the other is the window command. In Revit, both of these commands do almost the exact same thing. As far as placing doors and windows go, they might as well be the same element because they both are treated and act the same way when it comes time to place them. That being stated though, by executing the door command, and if you move your mouse up and underneath Architecture select on door, you'll get a list of all the doors which are currently loaded into our project. So select on the picture of the door on the type selector list, and we'll see there's currently two different main types of doors loaded in our project. One are in metric, and the other are in imperial units. These we might use later on in the project, but I do see a door or two that we could use that aren't in the project at the moment. So to load these in, move your mouse over and select on Load Family off of the ribbon. When you do this, there'll be a group of folders showing on the screen, and we want to double click on the Doors folder. Now, click once to highlight the very top door on the list. When you do that, you can then use the arrow keys on your keyboard to arrow down and begin to see the selection of the different types of doors that we can load into our project environment. Now, most of these will execute just perfectly whenever we first execute the door command. I do want to point out that there is a type of door, though, that we can load into the project that won't execute quite the way you might expect. And that's any door that starts with the words curtain wall. Curtain wall doors will only work inside of curtain walls. They don't work inside of regular Revit walls. Vice versa can be said as well. A regular Revit door, which works just fine inside of normal Revit walls, do not work correctly inside of curtain walls. So you always need to be careful as to which door that you load into your project so that you know that this door will place inside of this type of wall. In this instance, I want to load two separate types of doors. One will be a curtain wall door so that we can get in and out of our building. So move your mouse down and pick on Curtain Wall Storefront Double and select on Open. This is now loaded in a curtain wall door into our project environment. Something that you'll find though is if we look underneath Properties, those curtain wall doors do not show up underneath Properties. Curtain wall doors are actually special kinds of doors. They're a kind of door that will not show up underneath the door pull down. They show up underneath a different location. Now let's go ahead and load in a different type of door, the kind that loads in the walls, and we'll see it on our pull down menu over here on the side. Select on Load Family, double click on the doors. Now the kind of door that I want to load in will be an overhead door sectional. So select on Overhead Sectional and click on Open. You'll now notice that Overhead Sectional is available underneath Properties here on the Type Selector list. Just an everyday average Revit door. The one thing that's different about it though is it's the type of door that is an overhead door. You could drive cars or trucks or equipment in and out from it. This will be the kind of door that ultimately we'll be placing over here in this outbuilding that we have beside our main structure. For right now, we're just going to leave these doors alone, so hit escape a couple times to get out of the command. Now that we've loaded in two kinds of doors, one for curtain walls and one that'll go into a regular wall, I want to load in now a window that we can start to place into this outbuilding structure here as well. And I'd also like to place that window here inside of our main building structure. To do that, move the mouse up and then select on the command for window. You'll notice that there's an option here and it'll say fixed. This is the type of window that's currently loaded in the project. If we want to load some more, once again, we could come over here to Load Family and we could click on the word Load Family to load these directly in. But I want to show you another spot where we can load families into a project. Underneath the Insert tab, there's a button there called Load Family, and this does the exact same thing. The big difference is whenever you execute it from underneath Insert, it will just load that family in and not try to place that family automatically. Click Load Family, scroll down, double click on Windows, and in this case, I want to load a double hung window in. Now, before you double click on it or click on Open, I just want to say that if you click on it once, you'll get a preview of it just like you did with the doors. Also, another type that's here is double hung with trim. If you click on double hung with trim, you'll see there's trim now all the way around this window. This works the same with doors. This is actually the way that I usually recommend adding trim to a door or a window, is picking one that already has the trim around the outside edge of it, and make certain that the door or window has the right size trim going around the exterior edge, as opposed to not having it and then trying to place it later, which usually ends up being a lot more work. In this case, I think I will choose the double hung with trim and click on Open to load this into the project environment. I'm going to hit Escape in order to get out of the original window command that I'd had activated before going to Insert and clicking on Load Family. Now, the thing to remember is whenever you're going to be loading these different door and window families in, there's two different spots that you can do it from. The first spot is going to be from underneath Insert and then Load Family. And the other spot that you can load them in from is by executing the command themselves. So in this instance, Architecture, Door, and then choosing on Load Family. This is how you insert doors into existing walls. To do it, underneath the Architecture tab, first select on the Door command. After selecting on Door, find underneath the Properties on the Type Selector list the 8-foot by 6-foot 6-inch overhead sectional door, and select on the dimensions themselves. If you select on the picture or on the gray, it won't work. You have to select on the actual dimensions for that door upon placement. You can see a preview of this door we're getting ready to place. We can see the sill heights at 0 feet 0 inches, so that's how high this door is going to be off of the ground. Move your mouse into the drawing area, and when you do, you'll see a circle with a line through it. This is indicating that doors can only be placed in walls. And currently, it's not on a wall, so there's no place for us to be able to place this door. But if you move your mouse straight down until it's touching one of the walls, you'll be able to see that door trying to get placed into the wall. In fact, in this case, let's go ahead and place 2 of these doors in. Move your mouse over, then when you get the 6-foot dimension, click in order to place the door. Move your mouse over again. When you see the 6-foot dimension on the right, click again, and that will place another one of these overhead doors into our project. Now I'd like to place a normal swinging door, access door, here in the side of the building. To do that, we can stay in the command, but we'll need to click on the pull-down menu, which is the Type Selector list, and select 36 by 84 off of the list. It too is going to have a sill height of 0 feet 0 inches. It also has a head height of 7 feet. Move your mouse over so that it's selecting on the wall that we want to place this door into. Now, before I even click, you'll see that if I move to the left-hand side, the door will swing out. And if I move my mouse to the right-hand side, the door is going to swing in. Also, if I want to change this from being a right-hand swinging door to a left-hand, you can just click the space bar to flip it from one hand to the other. Place it where you'd like to in the wall just by clicking. Now we have the door and it's in the right place. Hit Escape a couple of times on the keyboard to get out of the command. Another function of doors that I want to show is if you select on the icon of the door, with most doors you'll see a pair of arrows. If you click one of those pair, it'll flip the door swing from being in the building to out of the building. The other one will change it from being a left-hand to a right-hand swinging door. So even after placement, you can adjust the door swing so it's going in the appropriate direction. Now I'd like to place a few more doors on the interior side of our building. In this case, zoom into this part of the building. And the 2 doors I'd like to add are going to be a door here and a door here leading into our restroom areas. At some time in the future, we'll add some doors for an elevator, as well as a door to be leading into our staircase area. Select on the door command one more time. 36 by 84 in this case works just fine for me. If I didn't want to have this kind of door, I could always come up here to load and then load in a different type of door for this condition, but 36 by 84 should work just fine for this area. Move down here, hit the space bar in order to switch the door swing so that it's up against the wall, and then click to place that door in. Do the same thing over here. Move your mouse over, hit the space bar if need be to switch the door swing, click, and now we have doors in both of these different locations. Zoom back out again so you can see your doors. One other item that I want to point out is there is an option here for tag on placement. Had tag on placement been checked, then the second we would have placed these doors in, it would have automatically placed a door tag in each of these door locations. So to place a normal door, just remember, click on the Architecture tab, click on Door, then select the appropriate door off of the list. Move your cursor over, find a place where you want to place a door, and then click, and that will place the door in that location. Placing doors into a curtain wall system is much different from placing a door into a regular wall. In fact, if all you do is select a door off of the list underneath Architecture, and then try to place it directly onto the curtain wall, you notice that it won't even allow that to occur. The reasoning behind this is that a normal door will only insert into a wall. It will not insert into a panel. And that's what a curtain wall is actually made up of. It's a series of panels that are joined together by a mullion. As a result of that, we don't want to place a regular door into a curtain wall. We want to be able to place a panel which acts like a door into the curtain wall. To accomplish this, we're going to be best served by trying to go into an elevation view and then placing this door from the elevation view. I'm going to hit Escape a couple of times to get out of the command. Underneath your project browser, double-click on the word South underneath Elevations. This will bring up the south elevation of your building. Where I'd like to place a door in will be right in this panel right here. I'm going to move my mouse up and then highlight right where that panel is at, and then click the Tab key. Now for some people, this might start to tab through and be able to highlight the individual panel as I highlight over that line and then hit Tab. In my case, it's making music. What it's trying to indicate to me is that this is currently locked or it's currently pinned down. As a result of that, if you're in Revit 2014, you'll have some pin tools over here. And this one is called Select Pinned Elements. Click on this button here if you're getting that music. It's not allowing you to select. When you do, you should be able to then move your mouse back up. More than likely, an individual mullion will highlight, just like mine is. And then if you click the Tab key on the keyboard, continue to do that until eventually one panel is highlighted blue all the way around that panel. Then just click in order to highlight it. When it's highlighted, you'll see a pin. Click on the little pin head to unlock this particular panel so that it can be modified. At this point, go to your Properties tab, and you'll see that this is a System Panel Glazed. Click on System Panel Glazed, and at the bottom of this list, click on the word Storefront Double. And it will replace that particular panel with this style of door, which is a particular door panel. One problem we have here, though, is it's currently sitting on top of a mullion. To get rid of this extra little mullion, simply highlight where that mullion is at, unpin it by clicking on the little pin head, and then either right-clicking and deleting, or just hitting the delete key on your keyboard, and you'll see that the door will automatically adjust the fit inside of that particular panel. We can do the same sort of thing with our interior curtain walls. Let's close this view down by just clicking on the X up here in the corner. Select on your 3D view, and let's take a look at our interior curtain walls. I want to point out that you can spin this building around by holding down the Shift key and the wheel on your mouse at the same time, and now move your mouse from side to side while holding the Shift key and the wheel down. In this case, once you're in a position to be able to see your two interior curtain walls, zoom in, move your mouse over where one of these panels is located at, and then hit the Tab key and then highlight on that particular panel. You'll notice that this panel is grayed out over here currently under Properties. Click the pin head, it's no longer grayed out. You can once again replace this with the Storefront Double. If you zoom in, move your mouse until that mullion at the bottom highlights, unpin it, and then click the delete key on your keyboard. Do the same thing over here on the side. When you're at the edge, hit the Tab key until the panel highlights. Once it highlights, click on it, unpin it, change this to be the Storefront Double, click on the mullion, unpin it, hit delete, and now we have doors on the inside of our building. So to be able to place doors into curtain walls, it's important to remember that you can't place a regular door into a curtain wall. It has to be a door panel. And to do that, you need to hit Tab to highlight the panel. Once that panel is highlighted, and sometimes you might need to move your mouse around to get it, you click on it, unpin it if required, and then choose the appropriate door off of the panel list.